Suge Knight claims Tupac begged him to end his life.
Suge Knight just dropped a bombshell. Tupac begged him to end his life right after the Vegas shooting. In a shocking new interview, Suge says he saw Pac in the hospital, who was first cracking jokes about wanting Hennessy. But as the night went on, the pain became unbearable. Suge claims a terrified Tupac, fearing a return to prison, asked him to kill him. Then, Suge alleges Tupac's own mother, Afeni Shakur, gave Pac pills and told the doctors not to bring him back if he flatlined. Suge called it the hardest choice in the world, but one made out of love. He also confirms the wild rumor that Pac's friends smoked his ashes, saying he was the only one who didn't because he was on probation. He claims it was a symbolic way to keep a part of him with them. Now, Suge is pointing fingers at Snoop Dogg and Keefe D, who is currently behind bars awaiting trial for the murder.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I don't know about Suge Knight lately, gang. I think Suge Knight is trying to keep that podcast buzzing, trying to keep his name alive, and trying to keep these old stories relevant. But Suge Knight has been spinning some tall tales, and I'm just going to be honest, I don't know how real this is. This one is a reach. This one is a real reach, because first things first, if Pac really wanted this, it would have been really crazy for Suge Knight to carry this out. So for Pac to even ask him to do this is kind of wild. But I want to have this conversation. I'm going to read this article because I feel like Suge Knight, I'm just going to be honest, when I see Suge Knight, it says Suge Knight says, I usually tune out right after that because it's so wild. It's been so wild, and it's just been so, it feels like jailhouse like fantasy where you're just like thinking of stuff like, yeah, he was gay and da da da. It's like all this stuff that it sounds like somebody that's kind of bitter about what's going on. I'm just gonna be honest, and I think it's salacious, it's titillating, it's just this really great sounding gossip, but in reality, it can't possibly be true. A lot of this stuff I'm seeing out of the Suge Knight podcast, it seemed like just to keep the hours going on the thing, like just to keep it longer. It's like, oh yeah, and another thing, like it's like, you know what I'm saying? It was some Smurfs in the backyard. It's like, it's kind of wild. This one to me is a little wild. I'm just going to be honest. But I want to have this conversation because maybe it happened. Stranger things have happened, gang. So, according to Suge Knight, Tupac allegedly wanted Suge to kill him after the shooting. Tupac allegedly wanted Suge Knight to kill him after he had been mortally wounded in the Las Vegas shooting that ultimately ended his life. Speaking to people from behind bars, the Death Row Records co-founder detailed his view of the night's events. Now, Suge Knight has never said this before. Tupac died, what, 25 years ago or more? I don't know the exact years, but Suge Knight has never, ever said this story. I've never heard this story even one time, even a little bit. But I'm going to read it and see where this goes, okay? He explained, I got out and tried to tell the officers what happened while I was bleeding everywhere. I then was getting Tupac out of the car. Even when the door was open, I had to go over there bleeding everywhere and take the seatbelt off of him. According to Knight, Pac then asked him to end his life. Quote, kill me, shoot me. He says he claims the late rap legend said. Tupac murder trial was recently delayed until next year after new evidence was uncovered. This sounds like new evidence because this is totally out of nowhere. I don't know. Tupac, they said Tupac was in the hospital, was it 7 days, fighting for his life, and then he passed away. That don't sound like a man that wanted to die. Like, you got to kind of want to live to even fight for your life. You know what I mean? For him to fight, it sounds like somebody that wanted to live. And from this story, it sounds like the officers, like I got out and tried to tell the officers what happened while I was bleeding everywhere. Then he's going to ask you to kill him. So Pac is that out of it that he doesn't know, because the cop said that Pac told him, he asked Pac some questions. Pac was like, fuck you. Right? So Pac was he was lucid, gang. He knew where he was, he knew what's going on. So Pac is gonna ask you to kill him. Yo, do it, Suge, take my life. Why? It don't make no sense, right? If he's able to talk, then that means he thinks he's gonna make it. Right? And I know they said that he was shot in the throat and this and that and third. He would have never been able to rap again. This is some of the stuff, but a lot of this stuff is coming from Suge. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what really happened and what to believe, but let me continue. The ruling came after Keefe D, real name Dwayne Davis, are talking about Keefe D because he's on trial for Tupac's murder. Stupidly, he went all these years, he kept adding more and more on the sauce, trying to get paid because allegedly he had cancer and he was trying to get money so he can fight his cancer. So he was telling more and more of the story of how he was in the car with his nephew and another man, and he knew who shot and this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. So he was telling more and more of the story. Finally, he told a little too much and got indicted by the Las Vegas police. He's sitting in jail, awaiting trial. The absolute dumbest murder case in history, of a murder that's over 20-something years old, of a man that literally told on himself over and over again on Vlad TV and the Art of Dialogue and whoever else would pay him, whatever he was getting, right? The dumbest convict in the world. Let me keep this moving. I don't believe this Suge Knight situation. I think that low-key Suge is, right now, he's kind of pandering to all this. Tupac is never going to be out of style. It's never going to go out of style to talk about Tupac. It's never going to be a thing where, yeah, we tired of hearing about Pac. No, they're going to be 50 years down the line. They're going to be like this, like, tell us more. What did Pac say? What did he do? Who was he mad at? Why did he shoot him? Like, it's going to be to the end of time. It's going to be these Pac situations. So Suge knows right now, just like a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people can still eat right now for Pac. You can still do a remix of Pac, and you know what I'm saying? So, and then every like 3 years, they got this fake sighting of Pac, and somebody that looked like Pac. Pac came out in Brazil. Remember that a couple years ago, probably about 15 years ago, it was like they had some guy that looked like he was in Brazil. Pac is found in Brazil. Da, da, da. So it's always going to be speculation, and they still got music for this guy, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he's the desire to continue to speak on Pac and get information on Pac is never going to go away. And Suge Knight, he's not getting out, so why not make a bag off Pac, right? And I think that's what he's doing. This is a story that once again is getting coverage because it's Tupac. All right, so let me continue this article about just a little bit about Keefe D, I guess. Keefe D has been in police custody since September 2023, when he was charged with orchestrating the fatal shooting of Tupac, which marked the first arrest in a decades-old case. And some people think that Diddy got something to do with that Tupac murder. A lot of us believe that Keefe D was not lying when he said that Diddy sent $1 million over to the West Coast, and a guy named Zip got the $1 million. This is according to Keefe D. I'm not telling you nothing that ain't public knowledge, but allegedly Zip got the money from Diddy, and he never passed it on to Keefe D and them for the murder. So I don't know how they tie in Diddy in if Diddy never got the money. I mean, they could say you wanted it to happen, because I guess when Keefe D says, Diddy called him and said, "Is that us?" when he passed. So, you know, I don't know, man. We don't know to what degree. I think Diddy, I believe Diddy did send money. I believe Diddy needed Pac out of here because Pac wasn't going to let up on him. But I also think that Keefe D, in a lot of ways, is too dumb to have orchestrated this. I think it was dumb luck, right? I think it was dumb luck that, yeah, they may have gotten paid, but they had no clue how they were going to do it, and they just stumbled on him at the fight, and I was like, oh shit, then he did whatever he did, right? And they ended up catching him at the light. It's just all dumb luck. None of this was like these some assassins, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this on some, like, you know, no, it wasn't that. I think they just got lucky, caught him at the light, and shot, right? I don't think that the money played any part of this, because they never really touched the money. Let's just be honest. Let me continue. He also recently attempted to get his murder charge dismissed, claiming that he had previously agreed to an immunity deal with law enforcement. That was in a different state, though, Keefe. You gotta understand what's going on. The former Compton Crip told detectives in 2008 that he was involved in Pac's murder, but his lawyers argued that he made this admission as part of a proffer agreement, meaning anything he said could not be used against him in court, and that this agreement should still stand. It's true. I don't know how they're getting out of that. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments, but prosecutors denied that there was any evidence of such an agreement, which the judge ultimately agreed with, ruling in their favor. I always thought that was common knowledge that Keefe D had immunity. I thought it was a clear proffer agreement that was always stated, but maybe I don't know, maybe Keefe D got the wrong information. Maybe he got told something in a back room that didn't stand up in the front room, because you can't, if it ain't in writing, it don't matter. So maybe Keefe D never had that proffer agreement, but I do know that Suge Knight never told this story, and I damn sure don't think Tupac is telling nobody So I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me know what you think. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They got all kind of flavors. They ship all over the US. Also, every Wednesday night we go live on The What Show. 8 different platforms. We talk about hip hop. Make sure you're in the building. Make a comment. Let us know you in there. Let us know what you think about the show. All right, and I'm gonna catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.